Power Book 2 Ghost Episode 8, one word, wow. It certainly was a great episode, and with the homecoming at Stansfield, I'm talking all things Kane being too far gone, 2-Bit returning, Effie's return, as well as the full review and recap on this episode. So welcome back to MovieBot. Let's talk about Power Book 2 Ghost Episode 8. Hope you're all doing great this morning, and we're back with probably the best episode so far this season. So spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't watched the episode 8, I'd suggest watch that episode and then come back. But if you're new to the channel and you want to see everything power related from reviews and recaps to storyline breakdowns, then remember to smash the subscribe button. But remember guys, I'll also be releasing another video in the evening today talking all about the main 3 points which are the most popular in the comment section. I'll be popping your guys' comments up as usual in my video later today, just as I did in the last few weeks. So remember to leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I'll put them up in my video later today and talk about as many as I can. But let's get straight into this review and recap, and this episode was titled Family First. And for those who watched my episode predictions video, I went through the episode description which was all about the homecoming at Stansfield. And let's start with 2-Bit returning once again, because I made a video soon after the mid-season trailer came out saying this was 2-Bit in this jacket because it looked like something 2-Bit would wear, following the same theme in the original Power series, and indeed it was 2-Bit. I was wondering when we were going to see him again and what his role was going to be in Power Book 2 Ghost, and he went to go visit Spanky's mom. She said that someone said he snitched, and 2-Bit said that Spanky was his day one, and you can tell even though Spanky was a snitch and 2-Bit had to do what he had to do by telling Tommy he snitched, but he still had to take care of his mom. And this wasn't the last we saw of 2-Bit, because he rocked up at Stansfield and we were wondering whether he was coming for the money that Ghost owed him. And for those who don't remember from the original Power series, Ghost said that he'd take care of 2-Bit as long as he took care of Dre, which he did, and now there's a debt to pay which was being passed on to Tariq, and 2-Bit's here to collect. He told Tariq that him and Ghost had an agreement before he died, and long story short, he said that he'd take care of him, and the first payment is 24k. And this is the reason we saw Tariq meeting Daniel again, because he wanted access to some funds from his trust. And even when Ghost isn't here, he still finds a way of controlling Tariq. He has Daniel checking up on his grades, but Tariq can't access these funds, so he has to think of another way, and that other way is Effie. So let's talk about Tariq and Effie's partnership in this episode, and I'm going to come to 2-Bit saving Tariq's life in just a moment. Now Tariq and Brayden, they had their re-up, but they only had half of their product that they normally do, and Brayden wanted to start selling coke, but Tariq told him to stay in his lane. Effie showed up just while Tariq was beginning to patch things over with Lauren, and oh shit, things did not go down well with Lauren. And I made a video on Tariq's love triangle. I mentioned, could Effie actually be the one for Tariq? I referenced both of them being book smart, street smart, and both of them being in the game, and how those two would make a deadly combination. And some of you guys may remember that video, and oh, did they make a deadly combination in this episode, because they made 50k together in such a short period of time after Tariq got Effie to trust him instead of trusting her, similarly the way Tasha said she did with Ghost. And what a dangerous power couple these two could actually be, and could we actually see the start of their partnership of Tariq and Effie, because Brayden seems to be pissed with Tariq that he seems to be keeping him out of the loop a hell of a lot. And now I wonder whether we could see Brayden actually teaming up with Kane and Tariq actually working with Effie. And I know some of you wanted Tariq to clap Lauren's cheeks, but I always maintained Effie was the one for Tariq just based on how powerful they can actually be together. So let's wait and see how this one plays out, because Tariq rang Effie at the end of the episode and went to Monet and said he needs more work. And he's gonna need more work now because 2-Bit is asking for another payment, and this time it's for saving his life. So let's talk about 2-Bit saving his life and this whole situation that unfolded at Stansfield, because it wasn't Lil Guap who was sent to hit Tariq, but it was one of Lil Guap's soldiers. And who was involved? Kane. He sent Bars to Stansfield to go and kill Tariq because he's pissed that Mone's working with Tariq, so now he's working with the GTG. But Tariq notices straight away that this dude, he doesn't belong at Stansfield, and this is why Tariq is smart. This is what we've been seeing from him all season long, and even though he's facing some tough situations right now, he still plays chess. And he's 2 steps ahead by messaging 2-Bit, telling him that he's got his money and to meet him. And shit, was it good timing, because Bars had Tariq, and Tariq, I'll be honest, he's gonna need to learn to fight seriously. But anyway, 2-Bit saved his life, drowned this fool, sent the picture of the dead body back to who? Lil Guap. And now shit's about to get real, and we're about to talk about Kane and Lil Guap in just a moment. But 2-Bit said circumstances have now changed. I just saved your life, and it's gonna cost you, and it's gonna cost him another 25 to 50 more bands. And is this the reason we're about to see Tariq enter the proper game with Effie, as I mentioned earlier on in my video? And just before they left, 2-Bit told him to wipe everything he touched down. And when Tariq came back and took his seat again, Kane looked real shocked to see him again because he expected Tariq to be dead. Instead, he got the message that 2-Bit sent from the burner back to Lil Guap, saying, "Now this is on you, Kane, I'm gonna clip you." So Kane goes out and he rings the burner, and this is the scene we saw in the trailer for episode 8. He said, "Whoever the fuck this is, when I find you, you're dead." And Tariq was the one who was on the other end of the line. Now after the game, Zeke and his teammates go out and Drew's trying to call Ev, who doesn't answer, so instead, as a way of getting to him, he rings Zeke instead, and Drew comes over, and this is where we see how much he's fallen for Carrie. He's got girls lined up for him, and instead, he gives them all to his teammates. But once all this shit is over and done with, Zeke and his boys get caught up with Lil Guap. And fucking hell guys, this is when shit got intense. Honestly, I've never felt this intense all season long, because once Lil Guap started beating Zeke, honestly, I thought he's capping his knee and it's all over for Zeke. Drew and Ev run to help Zeke, but he tells Lil Guap to leave Zeke and take him instead. But Lil Guap knows that Zeke is a golden child, and Lil Guap can kill Drew if he wants. But if he was to hurt Zeke, that will do way more damage and hurt Monet way more. This is something I've mentioned throughout the course of the season, and it's the hardest way out of the game, which was mentioned by Monet later on when she was talking to Drew. So Lil Guap had his gun right to Zeke's knee and says, "You think the GTG have no code? They take eye for an eye to the grave." And this is why I think Kane teaming up with Lil Guap is a disaster waiting to happen. But I'm going to come to that in just a moment. Now Lil Guap has his gun on Zeke's knee, and honestly, I thought he was going to pull the trigger. And just as he was just about to pull the trigger, this is where Drew fucks Lil Guap up. And honestly, for a split second when Drew jumped on Lil Guap and that shot went off, I thought he capped Zeke's knee, but he missed by an inch. Literally, it was so close, and Drew went looking for Kane while Zeke went to Carrie's place, and Drew was the one who saved Zeke. And Monet realizes this later in the episode, but Drew tells Kane what happened, and the first thing he asked was if he clipped Guap. And then Kane went on to say it was Monet's fault for working with Tariq, and then them replacing him with Tariq, and them having Lorenzo beat him. And the reason why Monet found out the truth was because Tasha made the call to Lorenzo and said, "If you hurt what's mine, I swear to God I'll hurt what's yours." And of course Lorenzo and Monet didn't order the hit on Tariq, so that leaves one other person, and that's Kane. And now he's too far gone. Monet said they've tried everything with him already, and she tells Drew that she'd been seeing this whole thing wrong, and that great leaders always take the fall, deserved or not, because it's the quickest way to make things right. Now Drew made the call for Kane to take the GTG crew out, and Monet said this is the last thing that he ever does for this family. And then we see Kane taking 2 of the GTG boys out but leaving Lil Guap alive, making a deal with him that half of his shit is now his. You know how this is gonna backfire on Kane real soon, and I have a feeling now that Brayden may not be working with Tariq, could he actually be working with Kane instead? But this is something I'm going to dissect in the week later on in a video. And a quick point on Jabari, because he's entering a territory which I think is going to get him clipped at the end of the season. I think him following Tariq, knowing now what he knows, and he's only going to dig deeper, Jabari's in trouble, and I think he's a dead man walking. But wow guys, that episode was fire. Intense, action, kills. It had the original Power feels to it with 2-Bit again, and shit is picking up momentum. So let me know what you guys thought of the episode down below, and remember to leave me your thoughts and comments down below, because I'm going to be releasing another video later on in the evening talking all about your guys' thoughts and comments. So make sure you guys pop them down below, and I'll be popping them up in my video later on in the evening. And if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, remember to smash the subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.